So apparently on Thursdays, the Orsay Museum is open late until 9:45. And that's supposed to be good because the lines are shorter, less crowds around all the famous artwork. So I'm going to check it out. On the way to the museum, I looked at my Google Maps and found a landmark indicated there. It was a statue called L'Arbre de Voël, the Tree of Vowels, by Giuseppe Benoni. I went to see it, and it's shockingly realistic. It's a bronze cast of an uprooted 30-meter oak tree. So when I was there, I originally missed the whole significance of the name of the Tree of Vowels. Apparently the roots resemble vowels A, E, I, O, U, and it's a reference to the alphabet of the Druids, apparently. But also it's these vowels are the subject of the sonnet Vowels by Rimbaud. And it's a very interesting sculpture, so the meaning is quite a bit deeper than what I saw originally. When I got to the museum, had a lunch at the cafe with the famous view through the clock, because the building is a former train station. So I had my favorite salad Parisian, and then I went to see the paintings themselves, and the cafe is at the top floor. So I actually started walking through the exhibit in a reverse chronological order, starting with the post-impressionists, so some famous Van Gogh's paintings, and I took snapshots of the paintings themselves, the people interacting with the paintings. It was kind of nice to just have a person view. Typically I'm very much immersed into just looking the pictures up close, but actually it is very interesting to look at them up close, look at the brush work, the techniques, the pointillism. But I also noticed that some of the paintings, they are very much like the snapshots, the modern snapshots that we take with our phones. And I don't think it's a coincidence, actually. People at that time, the late 19th century, were experimenting with photography for creative purpose. Some of the paintings, well, according to the descriptions and analysis by the professionals anyway, they resemble photographic images on purpose, and this is reflected in how they are composed, and also the kind of compressed perspective that the telephoto lenses offered. So that was very cool to observe. I also took quite a few close-ups of the brush strokes of particularly of the pointillists, and the combined effect. I really like the scientific, or at least scientifically curious, thought process that they applied to maximize the brightness of the colors without mixing the pigments, so to allow the mixing actually happen inside the brain of the observer. That's I really admire the creativity and kind of the amount of work they put into this. Taking this close-ups was kind of inspired by what my daughter likes to do. She takes photos of absolutely random abstract things with her phone, and then makes background wallpapers. And I think this is a nice thing to kind of use the everyday objects for creative purposes, but I think here it's a real meta thing. You can use art to create more art. Well, I'm not claiming that the phone wallpapers are real art, but then I guess it's in the eye of the beholder. There were other exhibits, kind of temporary featured exhibits at the museum at the time. In particular, they were talking about the pastels. Many female painters at the time used pastels instead of oils. And also there was a highly advertised exhibit highlighting the relationship and I guess mutual admiration and rivalry between Manet and Degas. The paintings, of course, were wonderful to see, but also was very interesting analysis by the professional art critics and historians explaining the relationship between the two artists, how they were contemporaries but also rivals. Fascinating. So they, besides purely creative aspirations, they were clearly also driven by some business ideas or trying to position themselves as artists in the marketplace. So that was very interesting. And the Orsay Museum had this deal where you could buy a combined ticket to the Orsay and to the Musée de l'Orangerie, where the water lilies by Manet are exhibited. So it's the whole museum is dedicated to those paintings. And I've been to Paris several times, but I've never been to the Orangerie. So you could visit both museums within 1 week, so you have some flexibility. So that's what I did. I a couple days later to see the water lilies, and the museum, it's a figure 8, kind of the infinity sign in the plan view building, and inside the museum there are enormous paintings of the water lilies. They are on the curved walls, so these are another reference to photography. These are real panoramas. When you stand in the middle of a room, you really cannot see the entire painting without turning your head, so you feel like you're surrounded by water. And the idea of the painter was, of course, that he would recreate the impression of his garden in the middle of a busy city. And I mean, the museum is very busy anyway. There are many people, but still it's a very different vibe out of the different museums in Paris and probably anywhere. It's quite unique. You're kind of encouraged to sit there in the middle and look at these huge paintings. So the impression is very moving emotionally, and of course the technique is astonishing. So you really feel the reality of the nature and the water lilies, but there is no reference like a horizon or the bank line or anything else. So you really kind of left on your own to interpret how this pond looks like and what the weather is like. But the shimmering light on the surface, and kind of you see that it's filtering through the foliage. It's unmistakable that it's the reality that's presented there, but this painting is clearly not realistic. There is not a single feature of these plants that's kind of painted to life. But there were also other paintings in the Orangerie. It's on the kind of underground level. There were some Modigliani and Cézanne, fantastic paintings. Just, if it would not be Paris with its abundance of museums, just that would be well worth a visit. And it's shockingly tremendous collection of famous artworks. They all kind of represent landmarks in the development of painting and fine art in general. So it was very nice to see. So, the water lilies is the main jewel of the museum, but there is also other fantastic things to see. And of course, just the whole location of all these museums. I'm recording this for a couple months after the visit to Paris, but at the time I was just shooting these videos and almost wanted to pinch myself that, you know, it almost seems like the city is built for housing this art and presenting it. So like, you couldn't think about better frame for the art, so to speak. The city itself has tremendous atmosphere. So I'm really glad to have just experienced this for a kind of extended period of time to feel the rhythm, the atmosphere of Paris.